chat? I don't know why I can't get my camera to work on Discord. It's being so cringe. Okay. Ah! It's leaking everything. So I'll do this. I'll activate it. And then I will deactivate it. And then when I come in and join in here and then click this again, it works. Dope. Talk for me.
What up?
What up? Okay. And from here, we've got this. And then I now go and grab you. And it is you. No, it is you. Why does it hate this? Oh, it's because I have it turned off. Dummy. So I grab this, and I grab this, and I grab this.
Do you have a channel in the Discord for questions, or are you just gonna chat to it?
So I have a channel in the Discord where they open a ticket to ask me so that I can pre-launch the question.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
And I can't see that?
I could have a mod help me out and
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
have you
I don't need to
able
see them.
it.
I'm just saying, if that's the case, while we're warming up, while Tam is setting up, if you're already in chat, if you have a question, please go into Discord. This show is not about us. This show is about the people and what they want to hear us talk about. So if you already have any questions, first of all, there's no pressure. You don't have to come on and talk to us if you don't want to, but questions are the key, or conversations, or topics, or whatever. So if you are in Tam's Discord, get to it, get going.
I wish there was a way for me to make this your Discord video its own source. I wonder if I can do that. I can't do it today.
If you want the Discord, like our webcams to be its own source,
Yes.
you'll do the pop out one, and then it will be a separate window. Do the pop out webcam, whatever it's
Okay.
called. There's a window.
Options. Are you saying ban you? Is that what you? Is that the?
No, that's not what I said.
Pop out. Okay.
It's called something. I'll figure out what
This
it's
is
called.
ruining everything. All right, I have done this. All right, so I have popped us out, and then my issue is I don't think it's doing what I want it to do. It does pop out,
Okay.
but
But then it
voice
would be
and video
separated from the
settings.
rest of your Discord.
yeah. Well, so here's the thing. You can make it a source by doing a pop-out window of his webcam. Okay. Well, I've done that, and now it is a pop-out window of both of us. Like we're both popped out currently.
Then right click on the pop out
Uh-huh.
and say and cross out the show my own camera.
Yes. Yeah. So here's I'll give you my full issue, and then we can get to it. Like when a guest comes on, they're gonna come up.
Yeah.
And that's going
That's
to
what I'm saying. Don't worry about their webcam. Don't make our
It
guests put their webcam.
does it matters though? It matters.
No, they don't care.
I care. Okay, fine. I guess then it doesn't matter that this is popped out or not.
I
Okay.
think the whole point is like the thing of like it's a call-in radio
I
show.
get it.
You don't
I
call in
get
with
it.
a webcam.
I get
You
it.
call in on your phone.
I
You
get
call
it.
in with your voice.
I get it. But I just like made a thing. Okay.
If Jordan over here wants to turn his webcam on, you can turn his webcam on. I don't care. I'm just saying, like, the less we ask of our viewers, the more likely they are to engage, is what I'm kind of getting with. You know, make it easy for them.
So Okay, let's bicker on episode 1 before it even happens. All I wanted was for the visuals at home that you ready for everybody at home. This screen would show up and it would just be their picture of their Discord profile. No webcam, no
sure.
nothing. That was it. But if we
My
have
problem
a
is-
third person pop in, it will change where Barrett is because I don't have Barrett as a separate source.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
that is, if you join the call, a thing is going to come up, right? And so I wanted you to be able to see you on screen. I was going to put your name on, their name on, and all, like, hey, look, you're the third guest on the thing. I don't need to see you visually, but you'll exist. But because of we're doing it via Discord, and I can't isolate you in Discord, or I don't know how to, like on Video Ninja, where I do know how to do that.
That's the solution, is that we would just use our webcams on Video Ninja and use our audio for Discord. So that the guests can hear us and we can see the guests, but the guest has to look at us through the stream like they already were.
Next week we'll do it. Oh, I'm not even showing. Not even showing the transition. So here's the box that people would be in.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. I
Not
saw it.
you. Them at home.
Oh.
I wasn't showing them at home. Again, I don't care about you, Barrett. I want them to see it.
What am I here
disable
for?
non-video participants. You motherfucker. I want them to be seen. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Now you made chat bigger.
Yeah. I do not want to show non-video participants. I can make chat bigger. I can make them nice and big. Okay. Okay, so again, chat for everybody at home. We're trying something new. It's going to be something a little wonky. Would love to have you guys pop in and help. The goal of this is a Universes radio show where me and Barrett come on and we answer your guys' questions. So what we're going to do is, I've got a question up at the top here of most underrated character. We're going to sit down and we're going to talk about this. And then while you guys come in and get questions in and answered, I will be taking those questions and answers. Or sorry, I will take those questions and then we're gonna pull you into a call. So if you submit an answer, and I'm down for you to do the thing, jump into waiting room, and I will drag you up whenever it is your time to ask your question. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? Makes sense to me. So, without further ado, hello, what up, everybody? Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Tam and Barrett Universe Super Show. This did get put together very last minute. I wasn't sure that I was going to get the logo all done, but it ended up getting done, and so we went ahead and just pushed it. Maybe a little quick, maybe a little haphazardly. Maybe a little quick, maybe a little haphazardly, but you know, we're making it happen. So, I'm Tam. This is Barrett. Please introduce yourself for anybody. This is our first piece of Universes content ever.
Hello, welcome. I'm Barrett Bryant. I'm a current employee of UVS Games, the company that makes Universes. Wow! I'm a good friend of Tamron Cardwell's. We've been making content together since 2017. We commentate together, and we both have a large passion for the game and for the community. And so here is our talk show podcast.
Yes. And so, as I said in a bit of a preamble, if you're live on stream, we're going to talk about this question here as our opener. I came up with it this week. Barrett's going to be in charge of it next week. Who right now, Barrett, do you think is the most underrated character in Universes Standard? And it doesn't have to be a singular character. It can be multiple characters. Let's just have a good dialogue about who is just like not being seen, not being represented across the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have anybody in chat, feel free to give us your answers. We can even talk about what you guys are thinking. But I went ahead and I kind of thought about this, and I went back and I thought about some things that we talked about in our top 8 podcasts as well, which is it's the characters that have been errataed and people are afraid to go back to them. Now, I'm not going to say a name like Smiling Titan because we know the Justin Birches of the world are
Hmm.
bringing the character back and doing well with it, but I do want to go and still talk about like the Ryukyu One Dots
Sure.
that nobody's playing anymore. I want to talk about the Reiner Braun one, or like the first Reiner Braun, right? And there's a few people that are still playing them, but I'm still going to put them in this underrated category of these are strong characters and have access to strong cards and effects that are exclusive to them. And people have it's this big misconception of as soon as a character gets hit or eroded, they're unplayable. And I don't want to say that's going to happen to characters like Nick Reagan who have just been eroded, but like I'm afraid it will because that's what the trend is with the people that play our game. And
Yeah.
so my big answer to the question is Reiner Braun. And I think he has a lot of cool tools that he gets to use. He's one of the best rune characters in the game. He's really good at making your opponent's stage look like garbage. And a lot of the game right now, its defense is stage based, and I just think he's a really good character. He gives free damage. He has impactful abilities. He has a lot of HP, straight DR on his face, which is incredibly strong. And I just don't think people are unlocking that character a lot right now.
I totally and fully agree. I think that there is a very easy case for a lot of these errata characters to make headway, but I also think that there's a lot of when I posited this question, there's a lot of characters that have had success, major success in the past that have just been out interested by new shiny toys, right? The one that comes to mind is Asui 3 won a regional, right? Not to like pat myself on the back of like I did that, but other people picked that deck up, went, holy cow, this deck is incredible, and then instantly put it down. Asui 3 has tons of symbols from the Attack on Titan thing, and there are so many cards that care about clearing the cards out of the card pool, right? There's the 2/4 that I'm infatuated with right now. 2/4 after your move hits, go grab a 4 difficulty.
I thought that card would hit fire.
It absolutely has air. It is a
Okay,
battle
all right.
preparations. 2/4, 3 mid block. Remove, discard a card after your attack deals damage. Add an attack difficulty 4 less for discard pile to your hand. This card with Tasty Riff is insane. Right? And Asui's entire game plan was, I need to find Tasty Rift to get my loop going. Well, this now says, if you block my move, I get to re-rating my character, so I redraw a card. And if you don't block my move, I find Tasty Rift, and then with Tasty Rift, I can build more back in. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, this card with any Tasty Rift deck under the air symbol is nutso. It's just nutso. And so the fact that like there are pieces like this from old characters that can easily be revitalized is so good. It's so good.
I 100% agree with that. I think, and you love the like damned if you do, damned if you don't gameplay loop pattern, and like that interaction you just talked about is very into that cut and dry space of like, hey, this character gets plus hand size if you block basically, and gets plus hand size if you don't block basically.
Correct.
So with the interaction with this card, so you have this difficult choice for your rival unless they have interaction with like the foundation card or they have interaction with the character card obviously, or anything in between of course. But I don't disagree with you. I think Asui 3 has been I mean, I ranted and raved about it after you won that regional for months of like, why is nobody playing this character after Tamron Cardwell, the #1 content creator of Universus, won the only thing he's ever really won since making content, and nobody followed in your footsteps. Like it was a backhanded comment with a compliment. Okay, sandwich.
Not how sandwiches work.
Nobody. It was a piece of toast.
I'll take it, I guess.
But like the reality of that situation, I think, is so crazy. Is it not? The #1 content creator, people listen to you to buy Teamworks, Tam, but they wouldn't play Asui 3 because you won with it. What? And then the entire format after that was chain blocking and dealing with string characters. Like, what happened, man?
Yeah.
Nobody touched that character, and here we are over a year later. Nobody is still touching that character. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I think that is the one of the big issues that our game has, which is like maybe like a different um uh systemic problem of we are given so many shiny new toys that we don't actually explore everything that we had in the past with them, right? There are so many new characters coming out over and over and over, and this year especially. I mean, 4 box products, whatever challenge deck products we have. Like look at the cards that rotated out are nowhere near the amount of cards that we're going to be injecting into the format. We're going to have so many characters to pop in. I am very nervous about people just moving on and forgetting somebody, and people getting blindsided by some random Historia, or sorry, excuse me, Crystallins that nobody cares about, and that a team comes in and does the thing. It's just a little silly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would agree with you. That is the whole epitome of, and we've talked about this in a long side conversation of what this is, which is our formats are never solved, and especially like in the year of 2024 when we had so many products coming out, so many new toys that you said. I hope that something like this year, where like we not only have a regional every month, uh, obviously the webcam thing is done. You know, we just did the last one where you and David Toombs did that.
Yep.
But now we have like these 2.5Ks happening. We have a regional every month, and there's not as many products coming out this year. I hope that there's more time for people to go back and look at those toys. Because what I don't want to have happen is I did feel like we got a little bit of it into not the worlds this year, but the worlds that Nick Reagan won, which
Mhm.
was that was the last event that set one was playable in
Yeah.
MHA set one. Sorry. And I do think people were like, well, I'm going to play this MHA one card or this Nick Reagan's attack package or whatever because it's the last chance I can play it. And I think once you get to the worlds or whatever, that when that time happens, it's like too late. You can still showcase something very cool, and I do love that, and that's what I encourage the players to do. But like, it does feel like it's too late when we could have been trying Asui 3 months and months and months ago. I guess it's literally boiled down to is like Justin Birch said on an interview at a regional when he played Smiling Titan that I he said I play Smiling Titan in every format to see what it looks like, to see how it feels, to see what it's doing in the format. And if he thinks it's good enough, he runs it. And if he doesn't think it's good enough, he doesn't run it. And so that's why there was a gap from when he was playing it, and that's why he brought it back, and then he was on the interview, and yada yada yada. Right? We need that kind of level of commitment to individual characters or even playstyles or symbol combinations, I guess, at this point. Um, for what the 200 something characters we have in standard, but the reality is that we just don't have that kind of player base to have that over encompassed and looked at. There was a couple of ones in chat, real quick, I guess.
Yeah.
Rapid fire. Someone said Vash the Stampede. I would say he's kind of underrated, but I guess my question is like, is
Here,
just a speed-based character good
here's my
enough
here's my
to
question for
be
you. So that
underrated?
that's Chris and had a great run with it this past weekend. Do you think
Yeah.
one person championing a character and pushing them above and beyond where everybody else thinks, does that force them out of the underrated camp, or do you think it needs to be a mass appeal? Everybody knows that Nick Reagan and Rodan are good type idea for it to be considered rated or underrated.
I think if you have one registered in an event, it can count as underrated, right? You were the only Asui 3 when you did it. You were the only Midoriya 1 when you did that tournament, right?
I'm just built different, is what
Um,
you're saying.
sure, but I'm saying like if you have one representation and you can get yourself on the map, I think that counts. I think that counts as being underrated. Now the reality is, will the masses agree with you being it underrated? I think that's dependent on the performance of that player playing that underrated character, and then you have to kind of change people's perceptions, right? because if just because one person thinks it's underrated doesn't mean everyone else does, right? Like for example, another one that was brought up in chat was Elder Toguro, and I would disagree. I don't think anyone thinks Elder Toguro is underrated. I would put Elder Toguro in a category of this character is very difficult, and people don't like playing difficult decks for tournaments.
I think that's fair. I think. Do you think that stops the underrated decks from existing?
No, not at all. I think you're gonna have the diehards. Like, someone brought it up. Like Woman shows up every now and then. The Genkai that was on a winning in at Nationals last year, really cool. And it performed the most turn twos on stream than anybody else did in a format where didn't think turn twos were happening, and this Genkai showed up and did it twice. Someone said like if every character had a Ryan Levine, right? Ryan Levine is the known player that has played Hawks and keeps topping with Hawks. That guy's dedicated to Hawks and brings it and performs well with it. So like I would put Hawks in that category of really underrated because here's a guy that's continuously doing well with it and proving that his character is good enough to compete with the rest of them. Imagine if more, to me the definition I guess for underrated is imagine if more people put the brain power into it.
Sure.
How big it could become in our already vastly wide game. So it's that same idea. I think Genkai could have done that. And then you have characters that I think maybe start in that underrated category and then they evolve. They come out of that category. And I'm totally blanking on names right now, and they're gonna be mad because I know they watch your show. But like, you can help me, I guess. The first guy that top cutted with Mirko 2. You should know his name. I'm blanking on it. I could go look it up on Ultra. I probably will
because you put me on the spot and instantly I died. Josh. The GOAT.
Yes, Josh. Okay.
Adkins. Yes. Thank you.
I would say the first time that Josh Adkins did well with that deck, underrated character. And then we went into a category of more people started playing it, and Josh Adkins would continue to reiterate on it. So you had the niche person, the underrated character, the underrated thing. More people got involved, more people liked the style of the deck, and then they did it. And so then it doesn't become underrated anymore. It becomes this is a known deck. This is a known factor. I wouldn't put it on an underrated category anymore.
Sure.
So I would love to see more of that evolution because as soon as more of those evolve, it does become in the world of like, wow, look how broad our format is because 50 characters can fit into that category.
Makes sense. Well, we have a viewer question. We've got somebody waiting in the wings, so I'm gonna pop them in. Chad, if you guys want to jump in and ask a question, come be on the show, just like the main mod Jordan Lemons is about to. Exclamation point! Ask a question. What are the options on YouTube? There isn't one. You gotta be on. You gotta be in the live stream. So we've got him here, and I don't want to see this person.
I don't want to see you either.
Okay,
hey guys, long time listener, first time caller. How are y'all?
Love it. Heck yeah, man. I'm upset I haven't seen you in an event recently. That's what I'm upset about, though.
Are you going to be at Louisville?
I will be at Louisville.
You'll get to see me at Louisville, Barrett.
Good. It's been a while.
It has been a while. It's been some snaps, yeah.
What would you prefer? I mean, obviously we know you, but would you prefer your username or?
It's whatever rolls off easier for y'all. Tams calls me about 3 different names each stream, so I'm kind of used to answering to all of them.
Well, as Tam already knows the question, but I don't know. Mr. Lemons, what would you like to talk about on our show today?
Well, you see, Mr. Barrett, now that we've seen a few rounds with the AOT3 cards being event legal, I just wanted to see if we could all talk about maybe the big impact ones, any outliers that we think are going to be maybe can become issues down the line if people don't find answers or answers don't come along. Like, I mean, I know we just saw in the webcam circuit, we just saw Porco kickflip his way all the way through everything, which people have been talking about. We didn't really see it at Melbourne, but we did see Peak at Melbourne, which came from Attack on Titan 3, which everyone's been pretty big on. So character, but even outside of characters, we have things like the new attacks coming out. We have military airship, just a lot of different like powerful cards that definitely have been, I think, showing up a lot more. Just wanted to kind of get like an outside look on everything, maybe get chat's opinion too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we will eventually loop it back around, and we want to know what your answers are as well. But Tam, would you like to go first, or you want me to jump in, or?
I think that it is very, very easy to see a new set, see the cards are very cool and awesome, and then because every card in our game, every new set, the goal is to make something new and interesting and fresh, to see them as problems and issues. With that said, I think there are a couple of things that could be considered outliers, like you brought up Porco. I messaged Andrew Porat after the webcam tournament, and I went, "Hey man, just to make my stance perfectly clear, I think Porco finding 60 damage on turn 2 is just as boring and lame as your Ghidorah list that couldn't kill anybody. I think they are both in the exact same category of this is lame to watch. It is bad. It's bad optics for universes. It's not good. Porco is very, very consistent right now, and it is very lame how consistent that guy is on turn 2. Like, actually turn 2, finding 40, 50 damage is tough. Whether that is, he got lucky or whatever. Like, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
He did it every time he was on stream. He just slammed people over and over again. And that's just as lame as Ghidorah spending 2 hours meticulously build 4 draw pass, right? It is lame. And so I think it's very easy at the very beginning of a format to be like, yo, all of this stuff is really gnarly and nasty and it's not very fun. But I think the could be issues situation is all about what is the gameplay loop against this thing. I thought Falling Titans, when I first read that card, I went, oh no, this is a problem. This card is not acceptable. This card's not good. This card is not healthy for the game. And then I saw the fact that it shifts into a foundation that I can pick up anytime I want. Even worse. But there are just enough answers to Falling Titans that if you are unexperienced with what the climate of the current metagame is, you get hit with a Falling Titans and you didn't know that it existed and it feels abysmal. How is that a legal card? But if you prepare for it even a little bit, you can take and shut that card down with a multitude of things. The issue that I have with cards that could be an issue is, what do you not have clear-cut answers to? And I think things like Unyielding Destruction is one of those. To answer the question, Unyielding Destruction, we don't have an Ageless and Wise to just auto-cancel that on a foundation that a lot of people can play. The only way to stop the Unyielding, like in its track wholeheartedly, is to seal it from hand, which takes up hand equity, or play a 3/5 Death, Void, Earth card in Unbreakable. Like, those are the main 2 ways that I have found that just like stops that. But you had to have had a momentum, so it's not good on the turn 3 if you like double build. Like there's other things to like stop it, or other things to like hurt it. But man, having a straight up having a they cared about Moment of Normalcy. If a Moment of Normalcy existed for anti-destruction cards, I think it would be Unyielding would be completely fine, totally fine. Fair thoughts.
I'll yes and you, I guess. You say that those are like the only answers to Unyielding, but the reality is like that's not true, because like almost any answer that was an answer to Falling Titans is also almost an answer to Unyielding. Yeah, like in the world when AOT 1 first came out, I was not the only one that said this, but multiple people were like, oh, everybody play Vast Strength in your deck. Everybody put Vast Strength in your deck. It doesn't matter if it's a Blitz, if it's an Enhance, if it's a whatever. Yep. Vast Strength answers it. And the answer is, yeah, it does.
Yep.
Vast Strength is nuts. In the same boat, in AOT 2, they printed an Infinity answer to it, before the card even came out with high speed dodge. Granted, I know it's an action card and you have to have it in your hand, yada yada yada. It's the same answer though if you had unbreakable or whatever. But like those are so your answer of it being filled with doubt or like a nonagon is the same adjacency of all these other answers that we have to things. And again, as the point I made at the beginning of it, those are also just answers to good shit in the world.
Sure.
So you playing this card in your deck to be like, I need an answer to unyielding, it also just works for anything in the game. So yes, and I think it's more of a weird factor that like I don't know if Unyielding Destruction has a home yet, so I don't even know if it will be an issue because people are playing it in weird decks. People are playing it not in ideal scenarios. I've actually seen quite a few people, not just like in general, but like I've seen more people lose games because they were the ones that played the Unyielding Destruction than them be the one to win. In the similar boat, Filled with Doubt, I've seen more people lose the game after responding with a Filled with Doubt because they didn't realize they still have to block moves for the rest of the turn than them playing with a Filled with Doubt. So we're still in this climate of like, to go back to like what Jordan was talking about, we saw Peak show up in droves, obviously for Melbourne. And I think Peak to me is like very as similar and adjacent to when Ochako 4 came out or when Toga 3 came out and that was Jetburn. Because that character is just, oh, let's give stats and here's a very easy game plan to execute. And I think Peak is like, here's stats, they're symmetrical. We know that those are good because Ojiro bit the dust for it. And here's an easy to execute game plan. It's the death symbol. We've been playing this with this crap since younger Toguro. Back in Dark Tournament, the death symbol's been king forever. We all know how to play with these cards, and AOT made it even prettier. So it's like, I think that character just became, it was just like really easy to execute. It has a couple of onboard answers. It plays cards that deal with stuff on board. It blocks well because it gives minus speed as well and minus damage. It rebuilds your stage. It just plays fundamental universes really well.
Yeah.
So like I would never put Peak on this list. I just think Peak is just fundamental good universe. But then you talk about the Porco side of that thing, and it's like, yeah, like turn twos suck. No one likes that. Meanwhile, I would also sit on the other side of that coin of like, I don't know if Porco's a problem. I think people just play crappy defense right now. And like people not playing Aries Smiles is weird. I even think there's more answers within AOT3 that people aren't playing. That's weird, you know. Shoutouts to Kaya's Compassion, by the way, if you don't know what that card is. And so it's like these characters, like fighting Porco to me is no different than fighting Ymir. The amount of damage output that they put out is relatively the same, and it basically scales the longer that the attack chain goes, right? The difference is Ymir doesn't get to do it on turn 2 anymore, asterisks, because she lost new training method.
Yeah.
Porco does get to do it, but has to fill their card pool with crap. And by crap, I mean usually attack cards, and like Mighty Blitz usually has to be a factor into this.
Yeah, they have to fill their card pool with crap, like +2 damage.
Like arm
Right,
bars
of
and
your
stuff
attack.
that just kill people.
Yeah. And that's not what I meant. But the whole point, though, is that,
Yeah.
like, God forbid a breaker actually shuts that character down, or it stops the attack turn. Like, that character is susceptible to that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Aries
Oh, he
Smiles,
does.
Kaya's Compassions, all these different things, whatever. So I would just say that most people aren't doing that thing right now, because a lot of the times in a new set, to go full circle on the question, to bring it back, with a brand new set, aggro is usually king. And it's up to the people that choose to not make that game plan and want to win against that game plan to adapt and figure out what those answers are. I was going to go a different take. I was going to make a hot take. You brought up military airship. I'm going to give you a crazy take. I know everybody was blowing up with like the Tasty Riff military airship, like whatever, like Historia deck. I think that deck sucks.
I think picking up Referee Jury and Biako is a bigger deal than the loop with Tasty Riff.
Yeah, I think the Tasty Riff military airship deck is actually ass. But what I do think is true is that military airship is just a generically good card. Tam and I, yeah, it has infinity on it, right? So it's like, here you go. Tam and I talked about this, like, it's essentially Kali Yuga of old days. And I would say a lot of like what Tam led this conversation with like Falling Titans is a lot of our preconceptions as old heads and what the cards we've seen be adjacent to in the past. And you have things like Falling Titans, which I would deliberately say is a nerfed version of the cards that it's mimicking. Even with it builds into a foundation if your opponent deals with it or whatever, and you pick it, whatever.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of that spectrum, you have, and Military Airship is obviously a worse version of Kali Yuga. And then you have the other side of that spectrum where Unyielding Destruction is obviously a better version of Searing Glacial Storm. Like, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I think to really answer and give my final point on the question for you, Jordan, is I think there's quite a bit in this set that would be in this category of what could be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's up to the people to decide and what they choose to focus on.
For sure.
And which of these categories they like more. Do they like the Searing Glacial Storm that's obviously pushed? Or do they like the nerfed versions of these banned cards of people's past? Which ones are they going to choose to focus on? How does the rest of the format and the rest of the players adapt to that? And then I don't think, and regardless of how that turns out, however it turns out, depending on what people decide, any one of these cards could be an issue. Or none of them could be. And it could just be the world that we live in.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is I think that's a fair spot to be in. Jordan, do you have to go?
I have to go. Yeah.
Okay. I understand.
I do have to go, unfortunately. It is time for me to go. I have some webcam locals to get back to.
Have
But
fun. Have
I
fun.
will. I'm playing some John Gearstein tonight. It should be fun for maybe me. We'll hope. All
That's
right,
Jordan.
I'll catch you guys
Thanks
later.
so much for your question, man. We'll see you in chat.
For sure. Thanks for having me, guys. I'll see y'all around.
Peace.
Bye.
All right. That was fun. We don't have a question now.
That's okay. But
That's okay.
it was successful. You know what
It
I'm
was
saying?
successful.
I don't care if Jordan's in here every week with a different conversation or topic. The point is that chat, give us some stuff to talk about. You don't, again, zero pressure. It's a call-in show. To me, honestly, this idea even came to fruition because Tam and I stayed on your Twitch, and I just sat here and talked with you for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And we were taking questions from chat. And all I ask is that format was very loosey-goosey and didn't have any structure to it. You don't have to come on the show. You don't have to talk. You don't have to do anything. But just exclamation point, ask question, get them in here. We can talk about them. So the goal is to do this an hour every week or so.
Yeah.
You know?
So can I push back a little bit on the difference between unyielding and falling? I think that Falling Titans is not a turn 2 idea that changes the game state so rapidly that like you have to deal with it, but unyielding just like does so much whenever you're not allowed to answer this question that when you can't answer its question the way that you need to answer it, it just debilitates your game plan so hard, as opposed to the attack cards that are supposed to kill you, right?
Yeah.
When you Beast Titan attack loop me, it's a big deal, and I lost the game because of it. When I on my turn 2 build out my 9 foundations so that on turn 3 I can play the game like a human, and you go, actually you have 4. I go, okay, well, I was trying to play the game like a human, and now you're just like, you're forcing me into this zone of, okay, I'll attack you on 4 foundations and lose for it, right? Like,
yes, I don't disagree with you. But like, for every one of those scenarios, there are decks out there that are like, oh, this is more of a detriment to you than it is to me. You know, like, I don't know a single Mirko 2 deck that can't win the game off of 4 foundations or less, because that's what they're designed to do. I bet you this turn 2 Porco deck doesn't care if it has 4 foundations or doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I know that I'm naming aggro things, so, and I don't disagree with you, but how come? And because I think this will still be the case, I still think characters like Ghidorah are going to have success even with a card like Unyielding Destruction running around. And I would believe that Unyielding Destruction is not good for the Ghidorah decks, like to run into.
Yeah.
But I think that they are resilient enough to power through it, but they're gonna have a harder time. So finally, like those decks that aren't trying to do the King Ghidorah thing, that's really lame and boring, have an answer to those decks. But then in other matchups, the card is bad. Like I would actually use the words bad because it is a 2-speed move that you also had to go down to 4. You have an attack in your card pool. If you want to build out afterwards, what happened, like, and what are you going to check on them? And there's nothing stopping your opponent from, after you playing the Unyielding, to where they go, yeah, I'll happily build after this. Let's reset the game state. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily a positive or a negative game plan. I'm not going to say that those games are NPE or not. I think that it's up to certain players, for the same reason why, like, some players love Thought Steal, or some people love discarding my opponent's hands, and some people think that's the most negative play experience shit in the world. There's a category for both, just like how I think this card is not for everybody, and it won't solve everybody's problems. So it's just this weird space, while also just looking incredibly cranked, right? The shock factor on that card is so high, right? It's so high, and it's not close. But then, like, the reality, I feel like, is about where it should be. And I think as soon as that reality point where it should be is stretched in any degree, obviously there's a giant target on its back, right?
This gets into the next question. We had a viewer question, so I will drag them up into the room. Oh, that does work. That did work. Feed, are you there?
Hello, losers.
Hello.
Tim, how's Rebby? Barrett, how's Yishuan?
She's good.
She's good.
Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear.
Wow.
A reminder for everybody at home, if you are trying to pop a question in my Discord, I've got a ticket system in the Talk with Tam section of it that says Ask Tam a Question. It will open in a anonymous ticket for you to ask me a question. Or I will come on, I will approve your message, and then we'll either bring you on the show or so on and so forth. So if you're looking to pop on the show, would love to have you. Anyways, Fidu, ask away.
Hello, this is Jose, friend of the channel, habitual 3 a.m. Barrett hangouter. So what is a broken card anyway? We use this term a lot. Well, what does broken even mean? Is broken when a card is too strong? Is broken when a card is too unfun? Is broken when a card just defines a format? Because, Unyielding, there's a million answers to Unyielding, but if we have to play all of them, is it not a broken card anyway?
I love that.
If there's a card that just defines a format, is it not broken even though we can answer it? Is a card broken even though it's bad? A lot of the times Unyielding is a liability in your deck because the opportunity cost of playing the 2 mid-6 is kind of bad if your opponent can recover from it. But did we not also have to just play around it anyway, And is a card broken just because it accidentally handles a couple characters in ways that are just too easy, Is the new Chun-Li 1-diff too broken, right? It absolutely negates a couple character enhances, character once per turns, entirely just for flipping. Is that card broken? I hate it, but I don't know if it's broken, so I don't know.
Yeah, I love this because it's so easy. It's so easy to, as a card game player, colloquially use the term broken and just it mean that it's slightly good. It's barely a +1, right?
Yeah.
And so the idea of broken is so stretched and overused that to the point where back on the old study hall podcasts, I refused to let people call cards broken. I would get mad at you if you did that. I was like, quit calling it broken. Use something else to describe it. Do you think it's ban worthy? Do you think that it's a pillar in the format? Do you think like stop using the word broken because there are too many definitions when it comes to describing it specifically for card games? There's just too much hyperbole.
I would 100% agree with that because if you watch the Calvin Tahan deck profile video, most cards that Calvin thinks are broken are cards that are free, because he comes from a game like Yu-Gi-Oh where things like 1 difficulty foundations don't have a cost. They or and Yu-Gi-Oh gamers use a lot of the like plus math, the like plus whatever minus whatever when it comes to like card trading and resource trading. So like to him, I feel like most of the times when I hear him say a card is broken, it typically just means that the value the card gives you in the resource management exchange game is so much greater than what your opponent could be doing. When the reality is in our game, that's just not how it really works. So I do agree with you that there's multiple. It's just like how we just described the term underrated for a character in a deck, right? It's the same idea. It's just a widely used word. I'll give you my definition then. I think when I'm shooting shit with my friends and I say that a card is broken, I typically just mean that the card is very, very good. I think at work, when I talk about a card being broken, I'm closer to the reality of it meaning that this has the potential and or already is a problem. And I think
you think there's a card that we could agree all three of us is broken.
Okay.
I mean, in the highest definition, like, yeah, this shouldn't be in the game level. Do you think there's a card that we could agree?
Are you asking for currently in the game, or are you asking in the history of the game?
History of the game is too easy. You just say whatever the thing that hit you the worst at one time is, right? Let's say currently in the game. I could currently banned works too.
Sure.
My
that
thoughts are
all
like
agree
risky.
On? I don't know.
Yeah, my thoughts like risky encounter, maybe. I could think of risky encounter. That card is actually just too free and too easy to use, considering that it is death attuned, right?
Do you think that card is? Do you think card is not death attuned? It's fine.
I think if that card isn't attuned, maybe it's fine.
Okay.
If that card is just has like a symbol or two and it's not attuned, maybe it's fine. But even then, it's just the fact that it's a 2 difficulty from your discard pile for the cost of having it enter your discard pile, which a lot of the times the cost is I plated my 5 difficulty stun 1 move.
I mean, to fight that, the card's probably also okay if its cost isn't destroy 3 foundations, but destroy 3 ready foundations, right? Like that's a realized cost now for the card, right?
Then it's not a real 2 diff.
It's not a 2 diff. Yeah. It's a 5 diff, but instead of committing them, I'm playing them, right?
Exactly.
Much more of a turn opener rather than a turn ender that gets these massive stats. So
precise.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about the cards that are currently a problem, I don't see cards that are like risky encounter very much anywhere. I see Unyielding that it has like a real opportunity cost, and you can just make a deck that combos off of it, like Hanj combos off of it because it's a deck that doesn't need more than 4 foundations at a time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I guess the question is, because I'm glad you brought it up, obviously, because I think definitions are important when it comes to stuff like this. Do you think there's a card right now that would fit in the category of the same thing as that?
Right now in the game?
Yeah. You're playing a lot more now. You're deck building, so like, do you think there's anything right now? Obviously, Louisville hasn't happened yet. Obviously, the 2.5K hasn't happened yet. We saw Melbourne, which had that format. Grassroots beginning of it. Do you think there's anything right now from what you've been experiencing that you would put in that category? And then I would sit here and ask Tam if he agrees with that, and then I would make a decision, and that would be something we would agree on, right?
Yeah, because honestly, in the game right now, the only card that comes close isn't seeing all that much play anymore, which is Genkai's Guidance. So really, no. To me, the card that etches the closest would be Genkai's, because it allows you to block an attack on +4 progressive difficulty, but just destroying 3 cards you weren't going to use anyway, right?
That's very risky shaped. If we describe
honestly,
it in the same, like
very risky shaped.
now that you mention it, play this.
It's defensive.
Well,
it's defensive risky, yeah. And go ahead.
I think that's actually a crazy point to bring up too, because like, I think on release of that card, everyone would have said that card probably could have been ban worthy, right? And now we're in this environment where, like you said, not as many people are playing it, but it hasn't lost any value.
Not at all.
So, like, did the world shape around to what Genkai's Guidance could do and exist with? Or did people just forget about it? And it still is broken, but people are so focused on the new shiny things, which is related back to the other thing that we were talking about earlier. Like, people forgetting about cards and people forgetting about characters.
Because I don't think Filled with Doubt is broken in any way. If anything, that card is mega fair. Like,
Yeah,
to be
absolutely.
entirely honest with you, right? Like, it's very rare that you negate a part of a card that you wouldn't have been fine with letting go the other parts if it was just Revoke. And Revoke is like 10 million times better than this card. Like, very rare opportunities you're like, oh, I need to cancel all of this. You know, not just the one thing that matters.
And you brought up the new Chun-Li one diff, right?
Yeah.
I would say I don't think it's broken because it doesn't actually cancel the ability,
you would.
right? It doesn't actually cancel the ability. It just says that my attack is safe from abilities similar to what you just did.
Yeah, the only caveat would be that if the only thing your ability does is reduce the damage, it does cancel it just because of how the timing of that card works, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly, but the idea you said too was like, well, if my character is Faye, for example, old Faye, where I have 4 different lines of text on one character box, if the card said cancel, it would just say no, even if you weren't trying to do that thing.
Yeah, I was doing
Whereas
like 3
this
other
one
things. How dare
says you. So, like for example, right? If you play a referee jury, you're still gonna get the on hit draw card stuff, but you're not gonna get the actual set it to 4, right? So, so it's like this. So I would say like, wow, that sounds way more fair than you just canceling my jury, right?
Yeah, it just has some very negative interactions with character abilities. Is the only thing that I personally really don't like about it. That's all. I don't like that it responds to character moves.
My definition is probably something that when either can't be interacted with at all, or when interacted with does not stop or slow down in a significant way. My example, vertical maneuvering equipment is a broken card. You ready? If that card had like some rider of like static, if you have no momentum, ever destroy this card or something like that, maybe there's a way to like push through and make that card. Like you couldn't slam it on turn 2 and then sit there with no momentum and then play whatever. I'm making erratas for cards that don't need them. But like there is a play around to that card rather than if I have the generation, every attack in the game is whatever zone I want and then +3 or -3 speed. And also the +2 damage is like whatever, right? And so like me trying to fight the momentum generation for your VME is just always going to be a losing battle. Just always. And so that's just like not an angle I'm allowed to attack this card on. That card is broken. I can't interact with it.
Yeah, you just need to destroy assets with your life. But
Correct.
then the issue is not unique. You just play 2. I'm out.
Yes. Yes, right? And so like there's so many pathways to just like overvalue that card, or that card gets more value than every other card, every other spend whatever minus speed plus speed modal card, right? Like that's a good example.
I think the proof is in the pudding. You know, that is Barry, you were talking about like block string winter. It's because of VME that we were in block string winter for a little while, right?
True,
Because you could block every move as long as you had enough momentum.
Yes.
Right, and for people that had negative play experience of that format, to them, VME is a savior, not a problem, right?
Exactly.
So like you have this weird dichotomy that I think not just goes back to the question of like what's a card broken. Obviously, not everyone's going to agree. I remember we immediately started talking about it, and someone in chat said "walk the dog," and I went, "What?" I think because then I go back to what Tam just said.
Yeah.
Tam said, "Well, if my opponent's playing a walk the dog deck, I do have interaction with that. I can deal with stun. I can destroy my committed foundations before the walk the dog comes out to make my opponent deal with interaction and stuff like that. And obviously, the deck that's playing walk the dog should have ways to also combat that strategy against walk the dog. But the idea is that at the end of the day, you have the ability to do something about that card, right? Don't overextend. You know, build a couple more foundations before you do go in, so that when you do commit 4 foundations, it's just like like that one to me will never be broken in my mind because it does allow that counterplay that Tam was talking about, right? It does allow those things to do, and like it's not like the attack says unblockable on it, right? So I don't disagree with the points.
It's just super future charge with hoops. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Did it need to have powerful 80 on it? I don't know, but you know, I'm not Jeremy Ray. You know, I'm not an expert.
Like
exactly.
I think the harder cards to define are broken are honestly the Nick Reagans and the risky encounters because it's very hard for us to sit here and be like, Bear said at the beginning of the show, just play more defense, right? And so like it's why I don't hate the, even though he doesn't like it, the Nick errata of twice per turn, because man, normally on average I can deal with this thing about 2 times, maybe 1.5, and you get it through, right?
You dome me on that one, right?
You don't.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah.
But it was always 3, 4, and 5 where it got +2/+2 and became accidentally true 100 or cleared the 3rd card from the card pool or whatever. That like was, man, that was really annoying. And so limiting
Yeah,
that
it's-
to
yeah.
there, or hey, I could deal with the entire text string and I could maybe deal with one of these riskies, but there's the second one. Chucks.
You really just have to figure out what, like, is defense the solution to this, and if it's not, it's probably broken. Like, if I can think of when I think of like one of the most egregious characters that I've ever had the displeasure of playing against, this is for the old people, it's Jeddah. Because against Jeddah, the solution was not play better defense. He just beat you anyway. You know what he was
Yeah.
doing was just not fair. And if I
He
think
won-
of the most
He won at turn
yeah.
2, and then he won on turn 10.
And turn 10. And then if I can think of the most unfun attack to play against, it's not even it's an attack that physically cannot do damage to you. It's just fatality.
Fatality, yeah.
Yeah.
I was
it's
gonna
just
say Jeddah
fatality.
2 at the beginning of like trying to find a card that we could all agree on. I said I would just say
Yeah.
Jeddah 2.
Yeah,
because
because we
if-
can all agree that Jeddah 2 is broke.
Yeah, because if Jose Narono, known I hate my opponent's foundations player, also says Jeddah 2 is broken,
Yeah.
then he's broken. You
Lord
know,
Raptor.
like
just-
Lord
yeah.
Raptor as well.
Oh,
I would
no,
agree with
come
Lord
on.
Raptor.
No,
Yeah.
come on, no. that's
no,
not
I
right,
played
no.
Lord Raptor and I would put him on the list too.
Nah, there's no way. Get my man out of here.
All right, fair enough.
Jose, final thoughts. I do have 2 more people lined up if Barrett has time.
I know.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
are my last 2. Those 2, you 2, and Q, you're it.
Yeah.
Love it.
But final thoughts. It's a little Kevin Brobergy of me, but I subscribe to the philosophy of the Zen monk. You know, if something really is so broken, you can try to answer it, and if you physically cannot answer it, then we can start having discussions with the community. But Porco is very strong. What Porco is doing is not necessarily fair, but a lot of the times, him killing on turn 2 misses if you block. Like the reason I love Barlow, the reason he died on turn 2 is because he just didn't block any of his moves. Because he passed turn with a card in hand and a Boatons, and he was just unable to block Porco's string. If he blocks the move in that string, he lives. That's just how that turn played out. And probably Porco doesn't attack him back enough, but also Armin can do 24 damage with his back, with his hand behind his back, because he's playing Hanja's last stand. So
Sure. All right,
Yeah,
buddy.
I
that's
would
it.
agree.
Thank you much.
Thank you, man.
I forgot to do this. I was supposed to do this as I did it.
What's this?
I'm putting the things up on the screen. So I
Oh,
have to like
gotcha.
make a. I have to make a thing. What up? Oh, I have you so quiet. Hello? Talk again?
Is that better?
That is so much better. Well, it's not you, it was me. I had you down to 6% because of the weekend.
Oh, gotcha.
Go for it, buddy.
So yeah, I was wondering, are there any banned or eroded cards you think would be good to be back in standard?
Very similar to the conversation we had.
Okay, this is different though. It's
yes.
adjacent though.
It is adjacent.
Wow. Like currently banned and eroded, or are you saying like can we pick ones of like formats past? Is that what you're saying?
We can do either one. Both sound interesting.
Because I think the reality is like currently in standard there's only like 4 cards banned, right? So there's not a lot to pick from. But like the question is like I think of the question and I go, could Crow and Frog exist right now? And my answer would be no, I don't want that back. But like
Oh, that sounds annoying.
yeah, but like could One with Nature exist? Could Snack Time come back? Stuff like that. Like I'm probably close to being like, yeah, maybe. But the reality I think is I'll preface this. I think the overall power level of a lot of what's going on in the game right now is not what it was when Tam and I were playing before COVID, but it's like right below it. Of just what I mean of like yeah, the numbers are bigger, yeah, the health totals are bigger, but like we were in an era where before Cowboy Bebop, characters weren't very strong, and the cards in your deck were. And right
Right.
now, I feel like the characters and the cards in your deck are really good. So like, it's that idea of like, well, if everything's strong, nothing's strong, right? Which is not what I'm saying. But I think what I'm trying to get at is when I look at a card like Snack Time and I go, can this card come back? But then I look at a card, well, they printed Don't Do This. And I'm like, oh, well, that's just Snack Time, right? But the reality is, well, no, Snack Time wasn't attuned, and Snack Time had a deadlock ability that fed itself.
Mhm.
And so my question is like, is that what pushed Snack Time over the edge? And the reality is I don't know the answer to that question. But obviously Don't Do This isn't ban worthy, right?
Right. Yeah, in like no world would I ever think we ban Don't Do This.
Yeah. So I'm actually gonna deflect a little to Tam while I think on it.
So I pulled up the ban list. There are currently 3 cards banned in Standard: Immortal Shapeshifter,
Immortal.
Mob Strike, and Risky Encounter.
Risky.
That's it. We do have some erratas of
And VME, right?
your VME is maybe not on the official list? Question mark. Oh, I must have
But different lists pulled up.
I must have.
There's a lot on the list is the problem, right?
Yeah.
Because like they have a lot
Yeah.
of like there's functional, there's power level, and then I would just go to the power level ones. That's probably the ones we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let me. If I do this and then do this, and then does this. Oh, sorry, everybody.
This one requires
the-
research.
The Universe's standard legal cards list was updated 402, and it is not on the list. So everybody, you are allowed to play
Hell yeah.
VME currently. That's dope. That's pretty
Oh,
sick.
we're so back.
We're so yeah, they're so
I'm trying
back.
to think.
Imagine playing Jean instead. Okay, so
Oh yeah.
so Younger Togoro is a character that got errated. Ryukyu, Reiner, Mikasa, Smiling Titan, Burt Living Weapon, Mimic, Knots Flask, Combined Firepower. Those are all that have gotten a power level errata that are currently, I guess, Shishiwaka Maru, Rando's Spirit Gun, I guess, because you can only play once per turn abilities printed on the card. Like that's like
Sure.
those are the ones that exist. My answer is I don't think that there is a single card on this list that I would want to come back. I think the only one that I could maybe possibly see is Younger Togoro, and hit him with a different errata that is more like a check a 5 type errata rather than a commit a foundation errata, so that he is allowed to miss 33% of the time rather than every single one is where it's at. That's probably the only thing that I could maybe see. But like, I do not want Mikasa popping off or Reiner breaking my foundations or the headache of a Ryukyu building in all of these blank foundations and then going crazy. Like, I don't like the -2 damage that Burt gave. I think the 11 foundations is great. Like there's so much of this that I think is acceptable and should be. I think genuinely the only errata that I would have is just Younger Togoro, just like check and go 5.
I think Younger Toguro is probably a pretty good answer. I actually would be stretched a little thin to think that if you actually just put him back to print version, because like things like twisting Azure aren't in standard anymore, the guy
Sure.
probably could just function, right? Like
I mean-
without the commit a foundation part, because
It
it's just he
Yeah.
just scales with his stage. Like he's just like, what's the difference between? I guess I don't know what I'm trying to get off here, but it's like
Yeah,
He
I
also
agree
gets
with
that
that.
bonus with the deadlock, and so like whatever deadlock could possibly
Yeah.
exist. But again, because of like this, the nerf is so big on every single attack, right? Or even if it's like
Yeah.
if you've do the opposite of like a Nick situation. If you've used this ability more than twice per turn, commit a foundation as an additional cost, right? Something like the first 2 are free, and then you have to pay for the other ones. Maybe you could see something, but besides that, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, honestly, younger Toguro needed to survive 2 more sets or whatever just for VME to exist, and he there's no shot that he would have been touched. There's no shot, right?
think,
Because everybody gets to be Asui.
I think honestly, younger Taguro unerrated wouldn't see play in standard right now. Like I can't see myself wanting to play younger Taguro over peak and saying like, oh yeah, I'm playing my death deck that wants to build out a crap ton, and then oh, unyielding just hit me. Cool.
I think that's fair. I think that's just having a bad matchup, but I think there is a world where fully unerrated younger Toguro has its perks, right? So you ready?
Yeah.
I think of the other side of that coin. You ready? Think of younger Toguro completely unerrated playing unyielding.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'll play this on a 5, reset us down to 4, response once per turn, I'll go to 5, build. Your turn.
That is pretty gross. Yeah.
And if you don't reciprocate some sort of matching my field, matching my stage, when I go to my attack turn after I unyielding you'd, I'm going to get +4 damage to my stuff. So, like, I see where you're coming from. I know what you're saying because of the way that Peak gives stats, and that's the kind of gameplay loop that Peak was doing, right? And
Right.
is doing. But, like, you know, I wouldn't underestimate things like that.
Actually, I'm down. He can come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
This guy's
What-
just Devil Jin that's a little better on the build. Right? Devil Jin gives way more stats
Yeah,
than this
yeah.
guy on just like I'm just gonna slam the orange cards at you, and he builds a little better at being a 6-hander and with the response.
Actually, I'll
Bring
do
it
you
back.
one better.
It's fine.
You know what I think can come back? Coordinated effort.
What?
Bring it back. That one can come back.
I don't know. I actually don't hate coordinated effort in a response remove situation. I think banning that card was not correct. I think that like obviously the idea is you ban non-character cards, you errata character cards. But if that card just said remove to like if you after you full block my move respond clear it, I think it's actually fine.
But I don't think you're the only one with that take of if a younger Toguro was completely unerrated, he would see 0 play. I don't think you're the only one with that
Yeah.
opinion, and so I think that's a real take. But I would sit here and be like, well, hold on. I mean, there were people still playing younger Toguro in OCE and in EU post errata
Yeah.
and doing well.
Yeah.
Again, different format, different world.
Right.
I think people would give a crack at it, and it would just look very different than what the Mitchell Chiminos of the world turned that deck into when it came out. But
Chad is already
I think
saying
it's a fun
Togoro's
question.
response is worse Beast Titan. I don't think it's worse Beast Titan. I think it's just like different Beast Titan, right? Like Beast Titan just does this exact same thing as a 5-hander
yeah,
that
yeah.
doesn't give a bunch of stats. He's got to go find stats in other places. So, I mean, but we're definitely stuck on younger Toguro because I think that might just be the answer. I think if I had to pick a second
Well-
one, it's probably just Ryukyu.
Yeah, I
She
think
lost to VME, I guess. So
I think Ryukyu right now is honestly like would be completely fine. Your momentum outs are like, well, you get incredible display, which is obviously really good, but I don't think your momentum outs on her symbols are even all that.
I would encourage you to go play. Hold on.
I
it
might
for
be
a
missing
while.
something, but
No,
yeah,
it's okay. It's okay. I played it for a little while. I just don't remember the name of the card.
I guess like you get like powerful EX stuff.
Earth, life. It has good, I promise. Foundation. Refreshing blend. That's the good one.
Oh, that card's dope. Yeah,
That card says if you don't need the momentum for damage or stats or whatever, every attack that you play has -1 difficulty. In the character that's playing the 2 check that says clear my card pool, go again. So
yeah.
whenever you check bad, Refreshing Blend says ready stuff in your stage. And then is also the fakest defense you've ever seen in your entire life because it says gain 2 on every enhanced step. That's my favorite one to do on 2 of her symbols. So,
all right, buddy.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
but, like-
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Final thoughts, and then we
Yeah.
got one more.
Yeah, I mean, I think younger would be fine. I still think like Ryukyu would be fine. I think like there's much more egregious stuff, than people doing refreshing blend on every enhance. I also think Rando's Spirit Gun could come back because I love Toga 4.
Okay, I don't know about that, but
Here's my time capsule one to lead you with a parting thought. Capsule Evildoers. That one could come back.
Oh shoot.
All right, man. Thanks for the question.
I think if Capture Evil Doers got rid of not itself, I think I might be okay with it.
Sure.
If it stayed in the card pool and you had to figure out how to get rid of it.
I think that's a fun one to think
yeah,
of, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
only like one character broke it, and they said, "Get rid of it, get rid of it."
And they
That's an
touched her,
interesting
right?
one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
All right. See ya.
All right,
All right, last
one. Hello.
It was so fast. What's up, boys?
It was.
Yeah,
Hello, what up?
Well, if you're watching stream, you're behind us, right? So
Oh, true.
yeah.
True.
Yeah. Anywho,
Welcome to real time.
ask away, Zach.
So, how do we get the community, Doomers specifically, on board that AOT design is fine, Bill Stark is not the devil, and that MHA had problems also? Seen so much chatter about how AOT is such bad design, things are awful, the game is dying, specifically because of AOT design. And it's just like, I was kind of dooming pre AOT 1 release, but I've been converted because it wasn't that bad. AOT 2 is very good. AOT 3 is very good. Critical Role is very good. We haven't seen TMNT and stuff yet, but Street Fighter looks fine. So, what do you guys think? How do we convert the community over to what I will call the enlightened among us?
Yeah, Barrett, how do you want to brown nose your boss today? Thoughts? Just kidding. Now
Wow, this is crazy. This is the most wholesome take I've ever heard from Zach Richards that I 100% agree with.
when I saw
Can
it,
I
I
say
double
that?
taked.
Can I
I
say that on
double taked the
camera?
question.
Can I hold on? Can I shake your hand, Zach, next time I see you? No,
Yeah, I'll be in Louisville.
I'll be honest with you, man. I think 2024 is cranked in half. And I think what you're talking, and when I say that, I mean like, because everything we've had a theme today, right? We've talked a lot about Dark Tournament, leading into, we talked about Awesome E3, we talked about a little bit going into Girl Power, right? But it's like, I think of like other egregious characters, like, I mean, everyone remember, like, Pony Sunotori is from Girl Power. That's a Girl Power character. And so, and the Godzilla Challenger decks, that's a 2024 product, Deku 6 2024 product. And yes, AOT 1 and AOT 2 are also 2024 products, but I just think I agree with you. What I'm saying is I agree with you. I think you can see the shift from the products that came out before AOT 1 to the products post AOT 1, and they are obviously very different and tailored very differently. And as more things look at like that tailored change, aka the Critical Role, AOT 3, and obviously I know we're going into TMNT like you said, but like if more and more things look like the latter of those things, I would agree with you. I think we should be able to convince more people that it is that way, that is the truth, that is the word. But I also am going to go on the other side of that coin, which is the reality is that people's perceptions is their own truth, right? Like, they're going to have their own opinions. They're going to believe what they believe in a format, or what they think is good, or what's broken, or what's negative play experience. Everyone's going to have their own opinions on those things. And there's no way that everyone's ever going to agree on the same stuff. Because in the same realm, for every cool design card that you like from any of those sets or any of those products, someone's going to point to another card right next to it in the same set and be like, yeah, but look at this horse shit. Right? Or they'll look at a card like VME and they're like, look how this shit had to get banned. And you go point at something like we just talked about with Jose, yet Genkai's guidance is still, still here and stuff like that. So the answer to your question, Zach, is I don't know how to convince people. The only way I would start with is telling people to play more games, but if they're already in that notion of they're doomering, then they probably don't want to play more games.
Can I ask you, Barrett? I don't know if this is public knowledge or not. Who was the lead designer on AOT 1?
I don't know if that's public knowledge. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but
Okay.
like,
Then don't.
okay. I just don't know. I just don't know. Like, it's not anything bad or anything.
Sure.
But it's like, the reality is,
Here's
AOT 1 was
me-
the beginning of a shift in design, and everyone on the design team had a part in it.
let me okay. I think the issue that you're having, Zach, that people are having, or how do we get them to accept it? I think that the ship has sailed with Attack on Titan. I think that
I would agree with
that
that.
is just the Attack on Titan set 1. I will say was a bad set. I think that the community will say it is a bad set. I think that there were too many pain points rather than positive points to be said about Attack on Titan. Of the card size was too big, we changed too much too fast, we got crazy whiplash. If the first set to have come out as the experimental set was something like a Critical Role, where it was this hybrid mesh of cards rather than whatever, hey, we're going to lose the 3 symbols or 4 symbols or whatever it was from this. Your ultra rares still have their 3 symbols. Characters still have 3 symbols. We still like here it is. We're going to ease you into it, and then now we're going to take these big swings with a 300 card Attack on Titan set. I think that it would have just been perceived better, genuinely. And so to the answer of accepting that AOT design isn't the end of the world, no, I think there's too much fallout from AOT 1 for people to get past and see the roses from AOT 2 and 3. Although
Yeah.
AOT 2 and
That's what I
3
was gonna say too,
still
yeah.
has their issues, right? Of people don't like or don't do like whatever, but it all gets lumped into it's all AOT's fault rather than whatever.
Yeah, like
yeah.
even-
So
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah,
Is
go for
like AOT 1 can be a bad set or an unsuccessful set or whatever adjective we want to use, right?
Yeah.
I think most people agree that AOT 2 and AOT 3 are fine.
Yeah.
But then you have people like, oh, MHA, the game was better when it was just MHA not because of an IP, because of like design choices.
Sure.
And I'm like, hold up, do we not remember that the death symbol had 10 low blocks for an entire set? Do we not remember that Kirishima 1 was like 7 of 8 of a top cut, and coordinated effort was 15 of 16 copies in a top 4 or whatever, and the only person not playing 4 didn't own 4? And like this, the AOT MHA 1 was not perfect. MHA 2 and 3 were bad. Those sets weren't good.
Yeah.
MHA 4 is not very good. The rose-colored glasses are Undaunted Rain, Jetburn, Girl Power, Deku 6, like that sort of stuff. But those first 3 or 4 sets were the power level of MHA 1 is there, and the power level of MHA 2 and 3 is hit or miss. But some of the design choices are really wacky in those things too.
Yeah, I think I don't disagree with you, Zach, because you have to also remember we went the entirety of MHA 1 with Giro 1 not surviving a single errata or ban, right? And regardless of how people feel about Giro 1, but like that's about as close to in our game that we got to Lord Raptor again ever, and that character made it all the way until she rotated. I don't disagree with you. I think there was, and this is also coming from somebody who had success in the My Hero era, right? Like I won my nationals, whatever. I went to Worlds, whatever, made a couple of bucks, but like, I mean, I did it playing degenerate aggro stuff because Tokoyami was so good that it swept the national circuit and then got hit and was still a contender for still competing at Worlds. So it's like, I don't disagree with you. I think the reality and my full circle here on this conversation is I think this will always be the case. I think this will always be what people say because I have the same idea with retro. I'm not a retro fan. I don't like retro because when we left that era of the game of UFS, before COVID, it was I have 7 cards that negate your attacks or send them to oblivion, and you only have 5, so it looks like I'm gonna win. And I don't think people remember that that's what was going on, because if you weren't doing that, you were the Nightmares, the Zhenghwas, or the Lord Raptors of the world.
Yep.
And those were the only 2 lanes that we played in. and that wasn't fun. Like, we had a ton of interaction. I think that's what people really liked. They loved the interaction. We're
You had
pressing so many
options.
buttons.
Right?
We had-
Like if
but
there
you
was a
didn't. You didn't have
problem,
options.
if
You
there
had
was a
buttons.
problem, you have this vast card pool that you are allowed to try and figure that out. Which in MHA, I'll just use the word in MHA Spotlight, we honestly just didn't have those buttons or interactions. But we were swinging knives and not swords. Now we are swinging swords again, and I feel like I have those options that I can go and find and go figure out. Right?
And I think that's just like a new format. Any person who's ever played a new card game that's came out, existing in a set 1 format, a set 2 format, a set 3 format, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We were doing that. We were all doing that live in living color. You know, like having just come from a 10 set standard, and then that's not even what they chose to do going forward, right? Like, it wasn't a 10 set standard anymore. It was yearly rotation.
Yep.
So like, but the only point I was trying to get at was, I thought that format was actually incredibly negative to play in. Because like, if you played an orange card, the likelihood of you actually ever resolving that attack was close to 0. And if you did resolve it, it's because someone had a flame aura. Because it didn't matter. And so, at least now, people resolve attacks. Yeah, the numbers are bigger, whatever. Like, but like, people are resolving attacks. People are doing that interaction thing that you're talking about. But that's still going to be somebody's that's still going to be somebody's yuck. If that's the point I'm trying to get at, is I don't like retro because that's the world I feel like people can go back to, when the reality is like that. I know that's not true, and the retro is so vast and wide that that's not a real comparison. But I'm just thinking about like what standard was back then to what standard is now to what standard was when we were playing MHA only. Everybody's yuck is going to be somebody's yum. Everybody's yum is going to be somebody's yuck. And I'm with you, Zach. I wish there was a better way for me to express into words. It's actually the one big thing I miss about playing competitively right now is like, obviously I come on here and I talk with Tam and I talk with chat and I talk with the people and like, but I don't get to put my money where my mouth is, right? Like, I don't get to play, and I get to watch everybody have fun, and I get to cheer on my friends and cheer on the community and cheer on the players. But the reality is if there are those people, Zach, that aren't enjoying the format, that aren't enjoying the design, that aren't enjoying the sets, they aren't the ones going to the tournaments and trying to prove to me it's wrong. They're just not playing. And the people that do like the format and do like what's going on are the people that are playing, and it just gives me gratification. It's really hard to always look at both sides of the coin because people will just vote with their wallets. And they'll vote with their time, and they'll vote with their vacation, obviously. So, like, I think the people that are doomering are going to doomer. And I don't really know what there is to do as, like, a player base to, like, change their minds. I think it's just up to them and the communities that they have and the people that they have, like, supporting them.
I mean, I think the other half of it is, like, validating the doomers' feelings, and then, like, Zach, I know that I really wish that you would sit down and run a boss battle with me, strictly because of the fact of I think that is one of the easiest ways for us to do casual play. And so I think that the game I think that the game might feel bad to these people with the highest level of competitive integrity involved with Attack on Titan. Oh, I miss MHA. I felt like I could be a little more casual, and things are like a little more honed in. It's very obvious which of the Attack on Titan cards are the good cards and which ones are the bad cards. It's very, very obvious which ones are the good ones and which ones are the bad ones. But when you take and you crack a box and you do a boss battle off the top, like they're all good, right? Having a 1/5 blank 2 low block that says that the boss does not clobber you for 8 damage, and you're allowed to block for somebody else who is missing their low block, you go, okay, that card felt useful in my hand and did the thing. It's just very easy for a lot of these Attack on Titan cards to just not feel useful nor wanted in your deck, right? Because a lot of them were made for this limited play, which just doesn't exist. And so, like, in order to get them out of the world of this, maybe this season or this year or whatever is not for you competitively in Attack on Titan. That's okay. There are other ways that you can play the game, fan made or not. Go make a cube of all of your cool MHA cards and go play them. Go run them. And then when you have enough, go introduce the Attack on Titan cards into your cube. If you have the singleton version, if you single draft the Determined Advance, it does not feel nearly as bad as Godzilla ripping 3 of them after a CD Rampage. And you go, well, these I can't believe there's a bad Attack on Titan design card as a 6 mid for 9 that lets Godzilla just keep playing cards, right? Like that doesn't, like, you can't have that argument because you found your cool one of, right?
Yeah, I think that's all totally fair. I think my big takeaway from this conversation is going to be validate their feelings part.
Yeah.
My thoughts on boss battles require a whole other call-in show. But
Sure,
I
next
think
week.
I'm very bad. I think I'm very bad at validating the feelings part. I can lay out why they're wrong. In like fact-based, evidence-based conversation, but they don't care about that.
Yeah.
Some
people don't respond to that. Some people
at.
respond way better to emotionally charged conversations, and I think obviously like people who like make their living off of like talking to people are masters at both, right? The factual ones and the emotional ones, and I think we're a very passionate community, and I think a lot of people are emotionally driven when it comes to universes, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just not everybody, you know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, totally fair. Thanks for the time, guys.
Thank you,
So
man.
much, man.
It was very fun. We'll see you next week for that why you hate my boss battles conversation.
Oh, for sure. I will do it.
Yeah.
Nice. That's what it's for. That's what the questions are for.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
All right, buddy. Have a good night. Enjoy your show. So with that, thank you all for hanging out tonight. Barrett, thank you for taking the time here on a Monday. My viewers, thank you all for watching here. I do greatly appreciate it. If you have more questions, the ticket system will be open all week, and I will have communications with you, so we don't have to do it necessarily so impromptu. I just a good time to make cool content is next week. The best time to make cool content is today. So I wanted to press the button and go live, even if we had a little bit of a hassle. But again, thank you all so much for hanging out. I do really appreciate it. Barrett, final thoughts before we close out this episode.
It only goes up from here, damn. The rocky road eventually gets paved. That's all I can say. No, this was a blast. What?
Wow, with the 10 gifted?
Oh.
3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted, man. That's so kind of you.
But yeah, I mean, the idea was, I loved this idea. Thank you for, coming and making my dream a reality, Tam. I can't wait to do this. I think this is a ton of fun. I know other podcasts that have success doing it. I hope the people like it. If they do, they'll let us know by coming on and supporting us. Because, when the people stop, we'll stop.
True.
That's what it is.
True. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Okay, no longer recording. Man, can't wait to do this for Riftbound. Anyways, you've got a wrestling match to go do.
Yeah, I'm already late, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that somebody cash ins on Money in the Bank today, like with their briefcase. So it'll be fun. Yeah, so I'm going to jet, but have fun with the rest of your stream, depending on how long that lasts. So
Love that. All right, buddy.
Bye.
Peace. Boop. All right. Yo, what up, everybody? We are back. Hello. How was that? Scale 1 to 10. Beep, bop, poop. 10 out of 10? Hell yeah. Love it. Love it. Thank you guys so much. I just got here. Love it. 8.5, but it's because I'm only half living because of the stream. Fair enough. Isn't everything a 7? As far as engaging content, 10 out of 10. Because I typed and deleted 17 things. Yeah, again, if you guys want to pop in and be a part of the show next week, 6 p.m. We'd love to have you live on the thing to talk like the other ones were. It is a ticket system inside of my Discord. It is the Ask Tam a Question to get in, and so would love to see you guys there. But with that, I believe that it is deck workshop time. So we've got June deck workshops. I need to let everybody know that they're here. Deck workshop. Yo, drop the links here. Yeah, my goal is to do some deck workshops tonight. If not, I've got some office work that I can do to prep for tomorrow's stream. The plan is to be live tomorrow at noon for the Patriot Games webcam event. It would be super fun. Time to in-stream and play Split Fiction. That is the other thing to do, is to in-stream and play Split Fiction. But I'll be on for at least another 30 minutes talking to you guys, chatting with you just a smidge. Even if we don't get the deck workshops in tonight, we can just always do it next week. That is A-okay. Yeah. I'm not a pitcher, but I have a deck I could shoot you. Close. Almost got me. Almost got me. Split Fiction looks so cool. Too bad I have no friends. Cannot wait for your podcast. Gonna be dope. Ask a question for people that want to start next week. Yes, it is ask a question. Exclamation point, ask a question. Is this a new playlist? No asterisks. This is the playlist that I use for whenever I'm playing games because it is the Harris Heller's stream beats. So I do not get DMCA'd. Which is important to me. I'm coming hard after boss battles next week. That's totally chill. I'm here to defend myself. I'm down to defend them because I think they're sick. Genuinely, I want you to play. I almost want to like ask. I almost want to like pop in and be like, give me your one time that you'll play a boss battle with me. Give me your one time that you'll play a boss battle with me, and you'll see how much fun we have. I cannot wait. It would be super fun. I'll give you one. Dope. I would love to. Any Tuesday or Thursday of your choice? No. See, here's the thing, Jace. Here's the thing. I have made a boss battle for the Street Fighter Challenger decks coming out, and you made the mistake of saying that you'll be in Louisville. And I need more people, I need more creators to help me with my boss battle. So guess what? You get to be on the boss battle for content, baby. It's easy. Brennan Jax. Yeah, I could do that too. It's made for Street Fighter. Obviously, because it's coming out for Street Fighter, but I could bring it to Jacksonville if you want. Would be fun to get you on camera though. I would enjoy that. Should they try to bring back Mortal Kombat? I'll do too. My man. I won't make you do the second one if you don't like it, genuinely. But I like the issue with we'll save it for next week. Yeah. I think the past experience without flesh out rules wouldn't ruin it for him. That makes sense. Should they try to bring back MK? My quick answer is no. I don't think that they should try to bring back Mortal Kombat. I don't think it's going to get enough people to play the game. I don't think that's the thing to do, but you never know. MK isn't really popular. Yeah, and when they did have MK, I don't think that it brought in a bunch of people, right? Like it wasn't like a crazy license to do, right? Like they already made the definitive edition MK1, which usually means they're done releasing stuff for that. Yeah. Hey, I don't know if I don't know, Will, if you heard or not, but currently VME is not banned on your website. And I don't know if you want to tell somebody. We need more Riftbound. I'll be honest. I'm already on it. Attaboy. That's my mans. That's my mans. I don't know if you guys saw or not. I'll go ahead and link it in the chat. Barrett is making Riftbound content. And I want to share his link in the chats. I come here. Nope. Pretty off-putting the UBS Games is handling strollable events, though. I mean, maybe. He is that. That stinks. I do think the game is very fun. Stream dead. Riftbound killed the stream. I think what actually happened is I opened up YouTube. I opened up the YouTube stream and it died. Let's see if it fixes itself. Because if it doesn't fix itself, I'll be very sad. Chat, are we back? No, it just died. We're back? Yeah, literally I opened up stream and it just like exploded. Or what time is it? 7:40? That doesn't make any sense. That's weird. We're back. Nice. Love that. Man, Snuggy, it's crazy how you're able to stream and watch at the same time. Like, I genuinely, I don't get it. I don't get how it works. I could not stay focused enough to be here and, like, type and shit. Like, you got 30 people watching. And, like, it's just crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, I think... Zach, what time are you going live? Because you guys went live right now, I would just like rage you real fast. Because I gotta like make a deck for tomorrow and shit. Alright, I guess I'll message you. I can make us live? Josh, that would be super dope. That would be super dope. I think this is a fun stream. Looks like I don't have any deck docs, or sorry, deck workshops. Gotta do my branding. So I can just hit you guys with a raid and then I got office work I can do. While he's getting everything set up and ready, chat, Rebby took me out to my birthday present of Hamilton last night, and it was an absolute blast. It was super, super fun. I've lost so many viewers from my stream resetting. So cringe. Make a Vashta Stampede deck. I heard that character is pretty good. Agent Winters is baiting me. Now I think tomorrow is gonna be a flock day. I think it's a flock angle, Happy birthday. I appreciate it. Birthday's not until June 24th, though. But, you know, we did write the Hamilton producers, and we're like, hey, will you come show up to Des Moines, you know, closer to my birthday? And they were like, nah. Actually, chat, fun fact. Middle screen, bottom right. I need one more follower to get to my birthday year. So you guys should absolutely, if you're not followed, you should. One person should follow. That'd be pretty sick. That'd be pretty dope. It's either Flock or I play Jester. And just truly get back on my bullshit. Because I bet Jester would be so much fun. Just so much fun. Do we do that? Hold on, let's look. Life Jester. Stats. Stream is up. It's a food and dog stream. It's a 70 card list. Real quick, chat. What do I play tomorrow for the UK event? Jester sounds sick. Just to be back on the bullshit, you know? Yeah, it's going to be a Jester angle, I think. I have all of this. Yeah, I've got all of this. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be Jester. All right, chat. I'm going to hit you guys with a raid. Thank you all for hanging out. I do greatly, greatly appreciate it. Search and filter. Is it final round? Final round. Game Shop is up and live. Is a dog stream? Question mark. Sick. All right, thank you all for hanging out. We'll catch you all next time. We'll catch you tomorrow at noon as we play some amazing, fun Jester games. Cannot wait to see you all there. But with that, we'll see you all next time. Go, everybody. Bye. Bye.